Hello, and thank you for listening to Mind on Music. In this episode, I spoke with Anna from Aunty Freeda. We discussed a lot of things, and she played 3 songs for us, all original. The first 2 she played live for us then and there, and the third is a track, her most recent single. I should say that some of the things we touch on might be distressing to some people. There is, of course, talk about poor mental health, some mention of disordered eating and of suicidal ideation. So discretion advised. But on the whole, it's actually not very heavy. It was a really nice chat. So yeah, let's have a listen. So, hello and welcome to episode 1 of Mind on Music, the series in which I hope to explore the correlation between mental health and art.
Yeah.
I'm Theo, I'm a musician and a mental health worker, and I'm joined today by the wonderful Anna, you might know as part of Aunty Freeda. The reason I wanted to do these series is because we know that musicians suffer more with the mental health on average, 3 times more likely to experience depression if you're a musician. And it's probably, you could assume, similar in other forms of art as well. You know, is that because the lifestyle of a musician is uniquely stressful, or is it that people who experience poor mental health are more drawn to the arts as a way of expressing themselves? So that's some of the stuff I hope to get into. But I thought it'd be nice just to start off, hear a bit about you and what you do.
Yeah. Well, I'm Anna, and I own a band called Aunty Freeda. They're all mine.
Yeah.
And yeah, I write the music and I help with sort of arranging it, directing it, and my bandmates bring a lot of their ideas forward. At best, we're a 9-man band.
9.
But
That's a lot. How'd you keep them all in order? Yeah.
Got some rules and regulations.
Yeah.
No, but I used to coach tennis, so I used some of my old tricks
okay.
from coaching tennis.
Okay.
Everyone hates it though.
We're talking now in early March, so just a week since Evie, your last single, came out.
Yeah.
How's that feeling?
Feeling good. I can finally let go
of
that song and move on.
Yeah, I'm kind of in that process at the moment with the Restless Youth song that we're working on, and yeah, I've heard it like a million times, and I'm just kind of ready to let go of it now.
Yeah, it gets to that point.
Yeah, it's a really interesting mix though, isn't it? Because you have almost sort of slightly comedic sometimes tunes that are really fun, and then there's also some like really serious ones, aren't there? Like some ones that are quite heavy as well. So it's an interesting kind of combination there. I mean, songwriting-wise.
It's funny making the lineup as well, because some of them are made up stories, some of them are real stories, some of them are just so old. For me, writing songs isn't like I don't want to stick to one theme. Like, I think our emotions as humans are extremely varied. Like, sometimes I'm really chilled out, and sometimes I'm really sad, and sometimes I'm, like, ecstatic. I love when people see my gigs because I feel like they might understand me a bit better, because people might think I'm just, like, really crazy cuckoo, especially, like, when I'm on shift and stuff. I love being around people, so I just get really excited. But, like, it's nice when people come to my gigs, they can see, like, all the different sides of it. Or, like, you know, some people might think I'm really sad when I'm not. I'm not, guys.
So let's go back to the beginning. I thought it'd be nice to maybe touch on how you first got into music, any kind of early experiences you had.
Yeah, well, it's funny because my dad found like old videos on his camera. It's just me as a 3-year-old making up songs. I was finished and everyone was clapping and my dad was like, she's not finished yet. And my mum was like, are you finished? And I was like, no, and just like carried on, and you could see how much I just loved being in the spotlight, like making up songs. So I think maybe from like a young age I've just always been a bit like that. But I think realistically I started writing songs when I was 12. I didn't use it as well as I do now in a way, in terms of supporting my mental health.
So when was that change, do you think? I mean, how did that happen?
It happened quite gradually. First song I wrote that was actually serious was about being a new girl. In year 8 I moved to a new school, and I'd always been an outlier, but I'd always had my friends, so it was a bit of a strange experience. I think that's the first time I probably wrote a song that was actually me expressing my own emotions, rather than just making up some random story about love that I'd never experienced.
Yeah. I think you can play a song for us, because we're talking about songs from this time that felt significant to you, or from just an earlier period.
I'm going to play Where My Eyes Go, which was... It was a song about a boy that I had a crush on for about... Well, I told everyone it was only like a week. I only had a crush on for a week, but I probably had a crush on him for a year, realistically.
Yeah.
But not just him. I was one of those people who'd have a crush on like 5 different people at a time.
Yeah.
Not anymore. It's very sad now. I live a very sad life. So I wrote a song about him because it was like the last day of school, the last time I was going to see him. I looked at him for like a solid 10 minutes, I think, on the last day, because I was like, this is the last time I'm going to see you, so I'm going to stare at you now. And I just thought how peaceful he looked, and like... I just wanted to write a song about it, I guess. And it was just the first song that sounded really nice and that I made a nice video for and that my friends really liked, and I ended up putting it on Spotify, and my friends single-handedly, a group of like 6 people, maybe 8 people, got it up to like 1,000 streams. They were listening to it non-stop.
And that is a big milestone. I can remember the first tune that I put on Spotify, they got to 1,000. It's like, oh my god, it's actually counting in real time now.
Yeah.
It's not just less than 1,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sad little sign.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
damn it. But yeah, no, it was crazy.
Did he ever know then? Does he know about this song?
No.
No. Well, if you're out there.
Yeah, if you're out there, it's
there
about
you
you.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I don't know what he's up to. I didn't know him very well. He might be a bit red flaggy now, thinking back, but
Who knows?
You never know.
Who
You never know. He
knows?
might be great. So
Yeah.
this is Where My Eyes Go. I like to look at you the way you are in this room, but you don't know where my eyes go. You look upset. I call your name, you pretend, and then you go. And I don't know, I'm beginning to panic. Pass me your light and my lungs are failing. I need to calm down, the smell on your fingers has me rotating. Think I'm addicted, you'll help me calm down. You make me calm down. I like to look at you, bizarre it seems. It's the truth and my thoughts bleed. What can I do? I know I'm wrong, and it's not right to assume you like me too, 'cause that's not you. I'm beginning to panic. Pass me your light and my lungs are failing. I need to slow down, the smell on your fingers has me rotating. Think I'm addicted, you'll help me calm down. You'll make me calm now. You make me calm down. I like to look at you the way you are in this room.
Woo!
The end.
That was lush.
Thanks.
That was lush.
My voice has definitely changed since then. Yeah, do you like it?
I really liked it. And how old were you when you wrote that song then?
I was like 16.
I mean, how do you feel when you play a song like that? Because sometimes I know when I play old songs, especially from when I was younger, it has a big emotional connection, doesn't it? Really,
Yeah,
sometimes.
I haven't really played that song in years, so it's crazy. It reminds me of like that age, because we don't really sort of realise how much we've grown until we're like made to think about a memory from really old, like a really old memory, I guess. But it's weird. I like have so much love for that girl who wrote that song.
But what do you think she would think of where you are now?
I think she'd be really excited, but also like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
How has your music become so strange?
What impact would you say that your mental health had on your songwriting?
I think it's had all of the impact. Everything that my songs are about is connected. Even if you're not feeling like you're writing something about yourself, it's inevitably connected to your subconscious or your conscious, you know, like you can't avoid it. I've written songs about other stories, but the only way you can write a good song about something that's not about you is by connecting to what it's about, and then then it becomes about you, you know what I mean? So
Yeah, and there's an interesting thing about the kind of explicit or implicit, whether you kind of talk directly about how you're feeling, or whether there's hidden in, you know, what kind of metaphors or other stories or things. Or
yeah, I really like zooming in and saying the detail but not saying the wider image. I think that's a really helpful way to avoid the cliche as well, and like avoid saying things that have been said before. It's like zooming in and saying the exact details of what you're seeing or what you've experienced. And
yeah, I mean, I noticed you mentioned cliche a few times. Is that something you're worried about, appearing cliche? Is that...
I just don't enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's not. I don't think people are cliche. I don't think it's something you need to like stress about as an artist. But I always want to do something that's not been done.
You know, I wonder how that feels then, performing some of those songs, because a lot of them are quite personal, aren't they?
Yeah.
And in some ways, you're kind of exposing a part of yourself.
Yeah.
To people that, you know, that must be quite intimidating, is it?
Yeah, on stage it's not that bad, but when Evie came out, oh my god, I didn't realise I'd feel exposed, but I felt so exposed because on the radio, because I wrote a whole paragraph to BBC Introducing to be like, this is why we
Of course,
really
it was
want
played
our
on BBC
song.
Introducing as well. Congrats.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was really exciting. I wasn't expecting them, but on the radio they said like, hope you're doing good, Anna, and I was like,
yeah.
People know. Everyone knows.
You must not be doing good writing a song like this.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is, 2 years old, so like, for me, I'm like well over it. But everyone knows that. Everyone I talk to, I like, it's one of the first things I bring up with people just by accident. Not even like I was anxious and depressed, but like I love to get to know people by just jumping right in, and I know that's kind of creepy. I'm just kind of shit at small talk, and also I just care so much about mental health. And like the fact that I've gone through so much, and I thought I was autistic for a while, probably am, but I don't really care. But like if I did have special interests, mental health would definitely be one of them. So like the fact that I've spent so much of my time like learning about it means that it's one of the only things I can speak to people about when I'm like actually having a conversation I'm really interested in. If there's anything I hate the most in the world, it's taboo, and sort of the culture that we have of being polite and being like having a reputation, upholding a reputation, and being seen as not weird. Like, oh, when people call me weird, it's like, no, everyone's weird. It's just that some people are too anxious to show it because of the way that our society is now formed, and it's really depressing and it's causing shit mental health. So like, stop describing me as weird and describe our societal structure as stupid instead. I don't know, like I guess I am weird, like, and that's fine, but I don't think anyone isn't weird, like, so it's just like a really mundane adjective. But
yeah, and you know, it implies a comparison, doesn't it? I mean, weird compared to what, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
And if we, you know, think about this period now of you kind of starting to perform, encountering, I'm sure, the strains of being a musician, or some of the things that actually kind of exacerbate how you're feeling about yourself. There's a lot of anxiety, there's a lot of stress. If we're thinking about getting music out there, worrying if people are going to listen to it, worrying what people are going to think about it. You know, there's a lot of people tend to be very self-critical. I just wonder how you experience that, how you manage that.
With me, the stress lies more in completing the mission. But once it's like completed, like managing the tasks and doing it all in time and whatever, but once it's done and it's out there, I don't worry too much about what people think of it. I worry more about like, what the hell am I doing? Are we gonna be able to like make something of this?
Because I know for me, if I do a gig and lots of people turn out and they seem to enjoy it, I feel really good about myself. If I do a gig and no one turns up, then I feel crap about myself. Like, so it feels very dependent on other people in a way.
That's the true thing. Yeah, numbers can be weird.
And I suppose, you know, we come on now to the second song and thinking about a song that meant a lot to you, a song that you feel kind of expresses something. You know, you get those songs sometimes that just feel really perfect or really powerful in some ways, even just to you, because it feels like it really encapsulates something you were going through. So do you have a song like that in mind?
Yes, I do. I thought I'd play a newer one, so it's even more fresh. Even more of a wound. It's called Ribbons. I played it at the headline.
Oh yeah,
did you like it?
Yeah, no, I did, absolutely.
Good
to hear it again.
Me and my boyfriend broke up in June. Quite put a pin on it, but it was a devastating time. I was so devastated, and because he was brilliant as a person, but it just didn't work out, and we both still loved each other when it happened, so that's just like really fucking
makes
hard.
it tough.
But yeah, and I was writing songs and I wasn't angry at him. It was kind of difficult for me to just be upset about it in a song rather than angry. Even if I wasn't trying to come across as angry, it just would a little bit, like even not angry but like disappointed. And that was hard. So this song's sort of like a song that represents how he can always sort of lean on me if he ever needs to. He can lean on me. My grandma, when I was a kid, used to place a red string on my head if I was angry, and she'd be like, this will absorb your anger and it'll bring you happiness. And I don't really remember exactly the reasons behind it, but it's just some superstition. So the lyrics are like, place your ribbons on my head. It's like he can place his ribbons on my head and I'll absorb any pain he has if he ever needs to in the future.
That's really interesting.
So yeah, it's more like a sort of hopeful song.
Yeah.
It's messy, I know. Your name at the back of my thoughts. It's tricky, I know. I don't wanna think about it anymore. Don't fall behind. Don't fall behind. Lay your ribbons on my head. I will not leave you behind for the dead. Lay your ribbons on my head. I will not leave you behind for the dead. Bye up, bamba. Bye up, bamba. Bye up, bamba. It's tricky, I know. Our bodies still breathe the same world. It's a messy, I know. I don't wanna think about it anymore. Don't fall behind. Don't fall behind. Lay your ribbons on my head. I will not leave you behind for the dead. Lay your ribbons on my head. I will not leave you behind for the dead. Bye up, bamba. Bye up, bamba. Bye up, bamba. And as the ship sails on, we'll find a way. And as the ship sails on, we'll find a way. And as the ship sails on, we'll find a way. And as the ship sails on, we'll find a way. Bye up, bamba. Bye up, bamba. Bye up, bamba. Bye up, bum.
So that was Ribbons.
Yeah, Ribbons. And my grandma made her way into one of my songs, which is cool.
Absolutely. It's a really difficult thing to go through, obviously where you would expect a real dip in your mental health and your sense of well-being after something like that, and to be able to turn that into something that ends up feeling quite hopeful and is really powerful.
Just to be able to sort of capture how I'm feeling, I think really helps my mental health. Hence all my songwriting has been used as a way to like process what's going on, but also after what's happened, it's a way to sort of capture how hard it was and also communicate that to people I love. Like I can be like, this song's about this, but also just like validate my own emotions as well. And and have something to show for them. I think something about it is so nice. Songwriting has been like the number one coping mechanism for me with anything that I've gone through. And it's crazy to say that because I've gone through some really horrifying things, and then from just writing a song about it to help is like, sounds so silly, but I would recommend it to every single person ever, musician or not musician.
Is it because of the release, you think, really, because of the kind of catharsis, or?
Yeah, the catharsis is huge, that is so true, but also for brains, I think it's hard to process things that are so heavy sometimes. So I think really focusing on what words you want to write down on paper to say what happened or to say how you feel, and actually really working on those words to like really dictate what happened and how you feel is actually a really therapeutic process, because you can really like be like, yeah, I believe in those words now. Like, especially if someone's done something to you that's horrible, I think songwriting is really good because it's a way of sort of not being silenced about it. But even when you're struggling, it's just a nice way of having something to show for how you're feeling.
Absolutely. And this week, I think I've been thinking a lot about the relationship between our mind and our bodies, and the impact that our mental health can have on our physical health as well, and that kind of relationship. It's been a big part of my own experience as well. I've been through so many physical health problems, been largely psychosomatic in many ways, and caused by anxiety and stress, or aggravated at least by anxiety, by stress. And I think, perhaps sometimes we underestimate the impact that our minds can have on our bodies.
They are so connected.
And the way we think about ourselves can manifest itself, very, very physically. I wonder if, you've ever experienced anything like that.
Yeah, not a lot of that, but I was anorexic for a hot period of time, and I was eating disordered for a long time. And that's obviously impact of mind on body. And I'm so glad that I got out of it, because at the time it felt like I was going to be in it forever. But that was huge. I was losing my hair and I was sweating through the nights, and obviously my body was just fragile and weak, and and I was like, really, it's a really dangerous time for me. But it's because of COVID. I was just so... It's not just because of COVID, but I think COVID just accelerated the process so much. So then to find this group of people who were really there for me and really would listen to me. I'm really glad that I have an analytical brain, I think. I really like facts and information. So even if I wasn't ready, I was just preparing myself for when I was ready by just sucking up all the facts and understanding what was going on with my body. The difficult part with getting over anorexia is like when you try and start eating again, you feel guilty about eating, you feel guilty about not eating, and there's no control and you have no hunger signals and you just feel completely like out of control, and it was really difficult. But knowing that that's what everyone went through and knowing that those were the stages was really helpful for me, because then I could sort of feel like, okay, this is normal and it's temporary.
Yeah, well, thank you for sharing that. I think it's really powerful to hear those stories, and I think it's really valuable when people do share things like that.
I always forget that happens. It's nice to bring it up sometimes. Like, I never thought I was going to die from it, which might have been a bit of a God complex on me, because it was a bit stupid, but I think sometimes inspiration comes from weird angles, but it's not always the success stories. But if it is, then I'm glad I can help.
And I wonder, what role music was playing during this time, whether you were doing less music because of it or whether more because you so much to express that you were going through. So I
was really unproductive actually during that period of time, but there's probably a couple of songs about it, but it doesn't make up a lot of my time, a lot of my songs. If you feel safe but hurt, maybe it's easier to write songs than if you feel unsafe and hurt, Lemon Tree's about it though, actually. That's one song that's carried forward. Tragic, it clings to me like I'm a lemon tree. It's like my eating disorder, and like getting married, and what if I get married with this eating disorder, and like, don't drive me crazy, Anna, get your shit together, Anna, kind of thing. I just got into a new relationship and I didn't want to carry an eating disorder into it, so...
Yes, I think I was interested in what you said about safety then. You felt unsafe for a time, and so you didn't create very much. And when you started to feel more safe, you created more, and then did that help, and it becomes a bit of a...
I think I was surrounding myself with lies to myself and lies to my friends. So if I ever wrote a song, I'd have to admit the truth. So I only really wrote 2 songs about the eating disorder, and it's just unproductive, but then also about that relationship. Like, I wouldn't write songs about it. I wrote 1 maybe, and I couldn't write songs about it in the relationship, because then you have to admit that it's a bad relationship and that you need to break up with them, and that's all another whole thing. So I think, you know, if you're not admitting the truth to yourself, and if you're hiding the truth from the people you love, obviously you're going to find it really difficult to write a song.
And of course, you know, when you're in the midst, you know, a real low point, a real struggle with your mental health, you know, there shouldn't really ever be that expectation to have to create anyway, should there? I mean, because it takes up so much energy just to get by, really. There's obviously going to be less energy for other things like creativity.
Yeah, exactly. You should only do it if you kind of feel like you want to do it.
And it brings us on to the final part now, which is thinking about where you are now, looking back, what advice you might give to someone, perhaps, you know, another artist or someone who's struggling with their mental health, perhaps in similar ways to how you have, and you know, what kind of counsel you might give them.
That they prioritise their mental health over anything else, anything ever. Like, your mental health comes first. You should be thinking about that before you think about the things you need to do or your job or anything like that, if you have the privilege, obviously.
And you know, I always say you're a person first before you're an artist, you know. Or,
yeah.
You know, it's very easy to become so wound up in your art and become consumed by it, and it can put a lot of pressure on you know, a lot of stress. So taking time for yourself just as an individual as well is very valuable, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so important. Just do what's going to make you happy.
We come to the final song. Something that you might like to pass on to other people.
Yeah, I thought I'd pass on Evie.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to pass on a song that the whole band plays in, but also Evie is entirely linked to mental health. It's a song entirely about mental health. Got a lot of songs, they're all about mental health in some way, but this one genuinely is just about me when I was... it wasn't really suicidal, but it was like suicidal imagery, is that what they say? It was like... suicidal ideation. It was a tough time, and I wrote Evie, and it sort of encapsulated a lot of different things that I thought were part of why I was struggling so much.
Towards the end of the song, when you're singing in Georgian, obviously I don't know what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's not a language that I know at all, but
I kind of wish everyone did.
But I absolutely really feel the emotion behind it.
Oh.
And in many ways it's my favourite part of the song.
Don't wanna see them, 'cause they think I'm scary. Want all the pupils falling above me, making me hungry. Look away now, fear for your family. Evie, can you tell me how to stay alive? Everything, everything, everything. Everything, Evie knows everything. On my mother told me she would sooner fly. Everything, everything, everything. Everything, Evie knows everything. Everything, Evie knows everything. Everything, everything, Evie knows everything. Everything, Evie knows everything. Everything, everything, Evie knows everything. Mother, I want to cry. Tell me how to keep the tears in my eyes dry. Mother, I want to die, but I know I'll break you slightly if I try. Did I rogor minda achlashin tan vhopna I havlana mimhere I otsneben zeze. Did I rogor chefteba sheni bedni
thanks so much for talking to me today.
No worries. Thanks for having me. It's been really cool.
Absolutely. Go listen to Aunty Freeda.
Yeah.
Where can people find you?
Spotify, on Instagram. Those are the ones I use the most. Facebook and TikTok if you try hard enough, but I'm not as big on those ones. But
Yeah.
Spotify and any music platform streaming service thing.
Great. Well, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
It's a wrap.
I love talking about myself.
Absolutely.